Alan, UK-listed Alliance Trust has reached a compromise with its antagonists, the US activist investors Elliott Advisors. Can Catherine Garrett Cox, the CEO of Alliance Trust, now breathe a much-deserved sigh of relief?
I don't think so. This does not look like a compromise to me. This looks like a defeat. They have allowed two of the recommended three independent directors that essentially Elliott wanted on the board to change things. They've allowed two of them to be recommended for election. It's a complete change. Today's statement is a complete change from what they were saying just a day or two ago.
Well, let's go back to Elliott's original complaints. They were basically concerned about two things. One, the fees that Alliance Trust charges for managing the money, and the performance they've achieved in managing that money. So now we have two independent directors on the board. Does that make any difference about those 2 points?
Well, let's start with the performance. The performance has trailed, they've showed this in their annual report, has trailed their benchmark, the MSCI All-Country World Index, for some time. Yes, it's come back a little bit, it's improved in recent months, but that's noise. It has trailed for a long time, so that's an issue. Two, it has pretty much tracked this index for the last 3 years, making it seem a lot like a tracker fund. And number three, the fees, though they use a flat fee and they claim this will come down over time if assets increase, are still high relative to an ETF, an exchange-traded fund, which would be a lot cheaper to own if you wanted to have the same index tracking.
Right, so it seems that there's two challenges, one short-term, one long-term here. Or I could say one short-term, one existential. The short-term one is the two sides have agreed to a sort of truce over the next year. Elliott will not agitate anymore. And in that year, Alliance has to show some good performance. But even that year aside, there's an existential question here. Why does Alliance even exist? If I can replicate the MSCI with a very cheap index fund or ETF, what is the raison d'etre for Alliance Trust?
Exactly, and it's trading at a discount that's not unusual for investment trusts in London, but it's been a pretty big one, and she's been around there for quite some time. There's been time to address these issues. So what is going to happen? You have now pretty much allowed the invaders to breach your walls. All the staff at Alliance Trust must be wondering, what's going to happen? What if Elliott gets what it probably really wants, which is to move these investments into external funds, because that might well be cheaper, and frankly, they might get better performance. So it's got to be nerve-wracking now.
Alan, it sounds like this is no compromise. It may not be a defeat, but in any case, there's more of this story to tell. Thanks very much.